Hello pilots and welcome back to another X-Wing flight video brought to you by Out of Arc Gaming. As always, my name is Phil and today we have something a little bit special for you. We have part one of a 3-part series recreating the Battle of Yavin leading up to May 4th with the Trench Run. The guys at Entoyment have graciously joined me to reenact this and see, can we keep it to canon or do we completely rewrite the whole story? But we're going to have to find out, and joining me to see how close we can stick to canon, we have...
James, I'm here. I'm definitely going to be cheering for the Rebels. Gotta try and keep it canon, but we'll see how it goes, I guess.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. So, again, as I said, this is a 3-part series. All the games are actually interlinked. If you are curious about the rules and scenarios for this, they are actually going to be on our Patreon, so you can find them on there if you do jump into our Patreon, but we'll go through a little bit of it now. So first game, we have the Y-Wings taking on the Empire's contingent of TIE fighters, hoping to whittle them down and see if they can make it to the trench. Now, we also have, as you'll probably notice, 4 turbo laser turrets on the board, which are also controlled by the Empire. Now, the way it works is whatever happens in this game will directly affect Game 2. So if those turbo lasers get damaged or if those TIE fighters get messed up, then that's going to have a direct impact onto Game 2, in which we will have the X-Wings finally take their shot. But let's have a quick rundown of the list. So, James, did you want to take it away with those Rebels to start with?
Yeah, so the Rebels have 4 Y-Wings, all have proton torpedoes, as is canon. In the red marked one, we've got Dutch Vander, Gold Leader, with an R3 astromech on board. In the green marked Y-Wing, we've got Nora Wexley. Admittedly, wasn't actually at the fight, but she's too good to pass up, so she's here. She's got an R4 astromech. And rounding off, we've got 2 Gold Squadron veterans, both with R4 astromechs, and they are the blue and the unmarked Y-Wings.
Absolutely. Just a quick one. These are 2.0 built lists. We are doing 2.5 rules within the game themselves. Again, we wrote the list for this a while back and got it recorded to try and get it ready for
and then the rules
changed a bit. And then the rules changed. But it actually made sense for us to stick to 2.0 because on the Empire side, we have 6 TIE fighters running in 2 wings of 3. So wing 1 at the top of the board, we have Howlrunner with the blue marked TIE fighter with Ruthless, targeted computer and veteran wing leader. They are supported by 2 Obsidian Squadron pilots, both with the targeting computer with orange and green. You can tell we're running low on colours at this point. We've got in the second wing, led by Mauler Mithel, with Ruthless, targeted computer and veteran wing leader, supported by Wampa with targeted computer and a black Squadron Ace, also with the targeted computer. So these are our lineups. We do have...
The Empire isn't just the TIEs though, they do have the turrets as well. So how exactly do the turrets work in this?
So we got 4 turbo laser turrets, as you can see on the screen. Now, for those of you that have picked up any of the Epic packs, so it's the Epic Battles pack, you actually get turbo laser cards in there. So each turbo laser has 6 health, no shields, no evade dice, because, well, they're stationary, but they do have a 3 dice range 1 to 3 gun. They can rotate in the system phase 90 or 180 degrees, and they shoot at initiative 0. So that'll be the very last thing to shoot. Again, with the turbo laser turrets, they will stick around for game 2 if the Rebels don't blow them up, basically.
Yeah, it looks like they're starting to work their way through that at the moment.
Yeah, so Wes, who is running Gold Squadron for us, is taking shots straight at them. I don't blame him. Obviously, he wants to try and limit the amount of dice that are going to be thrown at him. And if he can take out one of those turbo lasers, that would be good. Now, he does have to be careful. When a turbo laser turret goes down, it will be replaced by a debris cloud. So he does have to be aware of that.
Right. Okay. I was going to say it's quite an empty field, and if those do get cleared up, then you're basically running with no obstacles. But the debris cloud seems a good.
It seemed like the most obvious option when we were writing the scenario.
And that's going to benefit future games in this.
Yes. So that's one turbo laser turret down that the X-Wings will not have to worry about in Game 2. So that's going to be a good advantage as to whether our X-Wing player will use that to their advantage. But it's going to be interesting. I mean, Y-Wings versus TIE Fighters, you don't see that much often.
Yeah, the TIEs clearly have the numbers, and they've got decent defense dice, and the Y-Wings only have one defense die. But with Dutch, with his ability to share a target lock and everyone having proton torpedoes, a proton torpedo could easily kill a TIE in one shot.
Oh yeah, proton torpedoes can definitely one-shot a TIE fighter. And Dutch, Gold Squadron was at the Battle of Yavin, so you couldn't exactly have Gold Squadron without Dutch in there.
Gold Leader has to be there.
And his ability is great, especially when he's got R3 Astromech as well. So he can really stack up those target locks.
Just to clarify, Dutch Vander, Gold Leader, after you perform the target lock action, you may choose one friendly ship at range 1 to 3. That ship may acquire a lock on the object you locked, ignoring range restrictions.
Yeah. So incredibly handy.
Letting you keep hold of more than one target. You may maintain up to 2 locks. They must be on different objects. After you perform a target lock action, you may require a lock.
Yeah. So you can basically lock 2 things in the first turn and then give one of your group a target lock as well, allowing them to essentially, potentially double mod. They could get the focus first if they're going before and then have that target lock. So really good. It's going to be, if Wes can actually pull that off, it's going to be really powerful for them. He's obviously going to want to try and delete ties quite quickly.
I do think that the Empire's split here of 3 and 3, that the 2 flying with Howlrunner, I think maybe are stronger. Wampa's good, Mauler Mithel's good. They can both reroll in certain situations, but Howlrunner just has to be there.
Yeah, Howlrunner is just a great pilot. Big Obsidian leader, makes sense to have Obsidian Squadron pilots with her. So while a friendly ship at range 0 to 1 performs a primary attack, that ship may reroll 1 attack die. You're in a wing, so they're always going to be at range 1. If the other wing gets close as well, they could also benefit. So it's going to be interesting to see how key that is going to be. And it's actually quite nice just to see the wing tool being used.
I've not really done much epic, and I've not seen a huge amount of epic. And even the few that I have seen haven't used the wings that much. So this is my first real look at them. And I quite like it. You have your leader, you move the leader, and then you just move everyone else next to them.
Yeah, it does open up some really interesting potentials there, because with Howlrunner and at the moment Mauler doing that 3 bank, the ship on the inside works out to be doing a 2.5 bank, I think it is, and then the one on the outside is doing a 3.5, almost 4 bank that just isn't possible.
There's also what's just happened, where Mauler Mithel has moved and then done a barrel roll, and then everyone gets moved next to him.
Yeah. So you look at Wampa there. Wampa has just zipped right up the board with that extra space, and they essentially get two actions in that stage, because although Mauler Mithel doesn't get to do anything else, because they've barrel rolled, the other two are essentially barrel rolling and locking. So it is really powerful, and it looks like, unfortunately, that debris cloud possibly took Gold Squadron by surprise, and they've had to dive around it, which has not been ideal for them.
Yeah, Y-Wings are not the most manoeuvrable, unfortunately.
No. And the roll there, because bumping into a friendly ship is now dangerous.
New rule. Was there damage, though? No?
No damage, fortunately. But here comes the TIE onslaught. Obviously, the TIEs will move at the wing leader's initiative, which is 5 for both of them, but they still shoot at their own initiatives. So
first up is Mauler.
Yeah, Mauler gets a shot, and then it should be Nora, because the Empire has initiative. So
Howlrunner is out of range.
Oh, well out of range at this stage. They're in a nice little pocket there of only 3 TIEs at them, which is still scary.
Yep.
But you like to think that maybe they can focus down.
Yeah, I mean, for the Rebels, you'd really be hoping to have this initial attack exchange. You know, you're the one launching your proton torpedoes rather than what has happened.
Yeah, unfortunately, they had to barrel roll to get around, so weren't able to get those locks on, which is disappointing. But the TIE fighters, using the fact that they actually have locks to their advantage, which is quite nice, for the TIE fighters at least.
Yes, having the targeting computer on all of them.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, the lists are a little bit uneven. I think the Empire list worked out about 192 points old world compared to 200 on the nose for the Rebels.
I mean, but the Empire also has the turrets, though.
It does have the turrets, and obviously when setting this up, you look at the Battle of Yavin, and it is definitely in the Empire's favour. So yes. it is supposed to be a bit more challenging for the Rebellion.
Ooh.
But there is a damage going through onto Mauler, but Veteran Wing Leader allows Mauler to pass that off to someone else. So that has actually been taken by Black Squadron instead, which is a really nice part of the Veteran Wing Leader card there.
So yeah, Veteran Wing Leader, I'm over here now. You are a Wing Leader. Your wingmates must be the same type of ship. While you defend, up to 2 of your wingmates in the attack arc may suffer 1 hit or crit damage to cancel a matching result. Right, so even though you go, oh, I want to focus down Mauler Mithel, the damage is going to get split across the other 2 first, really.
Pretty much. You're using... Think of them almost like you're using them like the shields on the Lando's Falcon, in that you can take the shields off of the escape craft before you take them off the actual Falcon first.
It's almost like they have, was it selflessness? They're selfless.
Yes.
Or they're bigs. Good old bigs.
So, yeah, good old bigs. It's just quite a nice little bit of flavour, but that is some serious damage coming back into Dutch there.
Or Dutch.
I mean, looking at what you're coming up against, that's a direct hit.
Oh, wow.
Painful. Looking obviously what Wes is coming up against with the Rebels there. Oh, and hold on, it's not over yet. That turret is in range.
What was it? Oh dear.
It's in range of Dutch.
And what power is the, okay, it's a 3 dice shot.
3 dice shot.
It's the range bonus.
F's in the chat for Dutch Vander, guys.
Dutch.
Well, Gold Leader, we knew you for such a short amount of time there. I mean, that's the advantage the TIEs have. They were able to focus all of their fire there.
But I mean, it's, so far, sticking very close to the cannon. I think he got shot by Vader, but he's died a little prematurely here.
Yeah. I mean, I think Wes is probably happy that Vader isn't joining the fight right now.
Losing that ability and the target locks being handed out. And even just losing 2 unused proton torpedoes, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah, that does hurt.
But having any unused upgrades is always annoying. When it's an expensive one, it's even worse.
Yeah, because proton torpedoes aren't cheap. That's 12 points.
Yeah, 12 points.
So it's definitely something you prefer to actually use than lose. But that's what happens. But before we lost Dutch there, I was just about to say, so looking at what you were coming up against, would you have set up similar to how Wes did, or would you have tried to set up slightly different to that? Or what would your approach have been?
I think potentially set up in the middle. Don't fly straight at a turret.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe go a bit of an angle through the middle.
Yeah.
If you're in the middle, you're getting shot at by potentially all 4 turrets as well, so that's not a great spot.
I mean, when we
I guess potentially you've got a good joust set up in the corner, or set up just next to a turret, so you can shoot it as you're flying past it, kind of thing.
Yeah. So I think it is key to get rid of those turrets quickly, because they're going to be the ones that just do that surprise damage at the end. And obviously, if you take them out, that's going to be helpful for game 2.
Yes.
I think, again, coming up against a wing of ties is always going to be tough, though. I mean, if the ties were flying all separate and, like, Conor would be trying to fly them in formation without the wing.
Well, that's not looking good for... Who's that? That's the basic Gold Squadron veteran, isn't it?
Yeah. But it looks like that wing is about to break there, because I don't think Wampa can clear blue. So Wampa has now left the wing, which gives maybe a little bit of hope there for the Rebels.
What does that mean in terms of like maneuvers? It looks like he's just going forwards. Like he tries to do the same maneuver as the leader. Is that it?
Yeah, he still tries to complete the same maneuver as the wing leader was going to do, and then obviously does as much of it as he can.
Now he's his own agent. He's on his own.
He's now his own agent. You can rejoin the wing. I'm not going to lie. It's
not really worth setting up.
Not really worth it. It's quite complicated to rejoin the wing and the way it works. And half the time, if your wing's broken, it's going to be really difficult to try and get back in there. But yeah, I mean, it does mean that Conor now has to set 3 dials instead of 2. So, I mean, that's one of the things I've loved most about the update they did for Epic in 2.0 is that you can fly big squadrons and you only have to set 1 dial if they're in a wing.
Yeah, going through everyone's dial just took so long.
Yeah, it's much cleaner and much easier.
So and again, shooting into that Gold Squadron.
Yep. That Gold Squadron, oh, God, so painful.
He spins the focus.
Spins the focus. I mean, it's one of those ones, like, spend it while you've got
so
it.
Much. You might be able to save it for if you get a double focus, but yeah, just use it when you know you've got it.
Yeah,
that's a big hit. Who's that?
That looks like it was coming from Howlrunner. Oh no, I think that was from Mauler Mithel there.
Oh, the other one was Howlrunner.
Yeah, the other one was Howlrunner. I think that was Mauler Mithel.
I was going to say that's far too many dice.
Yeah. The Empire says it's enough though, so it's fine. But that is a considerable amount of damage coming in. Nora's got to hope to do something here.
How was it 4 red dice?
So let's bring up Mauler.
Oh yeah, maybe Mauler's thing. Oh yeah, if you perform an attack at range 1, roll 1 additional attack die.
Yeah.
1.
And then you've got Wampa who also has, while you perform an attack, you may spend 1 charge to roll 1 additional attack die. After defending, lose 1 charge. So it's going to be harder for Mauler to get that because Mauler is the lowest initiative here, but if no one pays attention to them, then suddenly they get an additional die.
Yeah,
it's Gold Squadron.
Yeah, I'd be impressed if Gold Squadron survives this. He might be getting the upgrade to new Gold Leader if he does.
Oh, but that's another direct hit.
Another direct hit. Oh no, the Y-Wings.
Oh, they really don't like that. No one likes that, to be honest, but right now...
Well, the Empire does.
I mean, the Empire is very happy right now. I mean, they're looking to protect their lovely new super weapon. Don't want you rebel scum destroying it. Oh, that's just disappointing. All those focuses and no token to change it. And that was the unmarked Gold Squad as well, so that would have been brilliant.
And I don't know if Blue has a shot.
Blue has a shot into Wampa because it's 2.5 range.
Oh, of course, range 0 shots. Still getting used to that.
Yeah, it's still a crazy concept. Can't spend that focus though.
It has meant that Wampa has defended and will not get the chance to get an additional attack die.
Absolutely. And there's the charge flip there under in that bottom corner that you might have just seen. I don't believe... Well, depending on who Wampa would be looking at shooting. If Wampa was looking at shooting at Blue, would not have been able to spend that charge anyway because you can't modify or add dice or results.
I think in the given situation, you'd probably take the shot on the Gold Squadron veteran, the one.
Oh, absolutely. He is the target. I mean,
especially if you're still at range 1 of him, which it looks like he might still be.
Yeah. Oh, there's 1 evade there, but that is a crit. What is it?
Is it another direct hit?
That's 3 direct hits he's pulled.
It is. Oh my! Right.
4 crits pulled so far. 3 direct hits. I mean, the good news is there's only 2 left in that damage deck, potentially. So, but that is you just don't see it.
Yeah.
You just don't see it.
And now we've got more shots coming in.
Yeah, the Obsidians are going now.
There is the debris cloud.
Yeah. Reroll for Howlrunner.
Not quite.
And that was a fuel leak.
Oh, just to be sure.
Yeah, just to be 100% sure, that is another Y-Wing down.
The Rebels are down to 2 full health Y-Wings. And the Empire has taken, 2 damage on the unmarked Black Squadron Ace.
And lost a turret.
Oh, and the turret, true.
So,
in fact, speaking of the turret, that damaged Ace is going to have to go over that debris.
Yeah. No, because
ignore it.
It goes under the wing leaders.
Yeah.
So if the wing leader goes over,
interesting mechanic.
The craziest one. So we'll use Howlrunner's little wing as an example. If Howlrunner was to do a K turn right now,
yeah,
where would green and orange end up? Would they stay green on the left, orange on the right of Howlrunner?
Oh, I see what you mean. I would assume they would stay the same sort of side that they currently... So green would still be on the left side of the screen, orange would still be on the right side of the screen?
No.
They have to stay the same orientation to the leader.
Yeah, so then essentially you would flip it all the way round. So green would end up on the right-hand side of the screen and orange on the left. When I played Epic before, we've done that. It kept throwing me because if you were to fly in a formation and do that, you would just sort of move up, spin. But no, they actually completely swing round. Because normally you'd actually have, and I forgot to bring them for this day. That's so much stuff to bring. You have like little cards that go under your pilot card. to show where you are in the formation.
Oh, okay, that's a cool idea.
Which is really cool. They're like really smart cards as well. But I forgot to bring them. I mean, I supplied pretty much everything that is on the table here. So I did have to borrow a couple of Y-Wings because I don't actually have.
You also made the turrets, didn't you?
Yeah, I did make the turrets. They were a quite a fun thing to make. Took a while, but they were good fun. Yeah, I custom made the turrets. Not 3D printed though. I don't have a 3D printer. That would have made my life so much easier. They're literally made out of old Games Workshop movement trays for their fantasy game.
Oh, right.
that I happened to find and went, oh, okay, I'll just slice those up and try not to cut my fingers up.
Rebels are really focusing on this initial group. I feel like I would have maybe tried to fly past them and maybe get a lock on the other group.
Yeah.
Because being down half your list, I feel like you really want those actions, even if they're not at the target you really want.
Yeah, I'd potentially be looking at flying past, gaining a lock and maybe trying to come back in at a more advantageous angle. Looking at where bottom left turret is, it's pointing back towards the rebel board edge, so you could probably get past that and not have to worry about it. But that's not particularly.
Oh, I don't think Nora's going to make that.
No,
So again, no actions for the rebels.
I think Wes was hoping to not win road there. Again,
that's road.
Yeah, road is an interesting.
I can't like it though. It's a gamble.
Yeah, it's an interesting mechanic. I mean, we've had people in the comments that I've been chatting with debating about whether road, or as they were calling it, robe. So roll off after dials or roll off after dials or roll off before dials. Rob D, whatever. Sure. Whether it was rolling after four. Oh, there we go. There's the K-wing turn, as I was saying.
Interesting.
Completely, yeah. Whether it'd be better to roll off before dials or after dials. And I think that both have merits. Before dials, you have more information, which is always going to be handy. It's less risky, but I think rolling after dials means you have to think more about it. You have to plan a bit more savvy. So it's interesting.
What are your thoughts on the Death Star map? Because we don't see it a lot. But obviously, it's very thematic to have it here.
Yeah. So, I mean, doing this type of game, I had to use it.
Oh yeah.
And I like it. It's a nice map. Like, it looks good. I was a bit concerned recording on it as to how well you'd be able to see the ships in comparison to a normal, say, star map or any of the other maps we use. And happily, like, you can still see them fairly well. Not quite as good as if, say, you did have just like a standard black star map. But the Death Star map is an interesting one. I wouldn't use it as a go-to map for anything. But right. in this case, I was more than happy to use it because it was the right thing for what we were doing.
Fair enough. I think that was Nora's range 1 into yellow.
Range 0 actually.
Sorry, range 0.
So yeah. Ineffective, unfortunately. What about yourself? What do you think of the Death Star map?
I think I agree. It's a nice idea, but you're staring at it for quite a while. And it is a lot of geometric shapes, and I feel like you would get a bit of a headache after a lot of games with it.
Yeah, it's quite busy in that sense. But for this, it was a no-brainer. So that is.
I'm also wondering if maybe the rebels go, you know what? Forget the ties. We're behind. We're not going to win. Let's just launch torpedoes at these turrets and do a bombing run because we're bombers and that's kind of what we do.
Yeah, that might be.
Like, play the long game, give up this fight, and maybe win the whole war.
Yeah, can they soften up the Empire's defenses ready for the X-Wings in Game 2? It's a solid option. I mean, with the scenarios that we've built, we did have an optional rule in there for TIE Fighter reinforcements that we had sort of as a little backup plan just in case. But as you can tell,
doesn't seem like any.
Haven't really had to activate that. So unfortunately, the TIE Fighters, they're doing well. I mean, I'm an Empire player. I don't mean unfortunately. I mean, thankfully, the TIE Fighters do really well.
You want to cheer on the Empire. You know I'm going to cheer on the Rebels.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I could have brought on pretty much any of the other commentators and they'd probably just be cheering on the action. But me and you, we definitely encapsulate either side of this battle. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll fly Rebels grudgingly, but Empire was my first faction, and I still, despite some of their difficulties at the moment, I still love flying the Empire.
There is some fun stuff there.
Yeah.
Oh, there's another crit?
It's a damage sensor array on blue.
I mean, it's not a direct hit, so it's a change of pace.
Yeah, it's not a direct hit. That's another crit coming through, though.
Oh, I may have spoken too soon if this is a direct hit as well.
Oh. Nope. Weapons failure.
Oh, dear.
That's probably worse right now, to be honest.
These Y-Wings are having a bad day.
Yeah, I mean, I think these Y-Wings, there's two things I think that they would love right now. A turret and some form of device that they can chuck out the back. I mean, a cluster mine on Nora right now would be hilarious.
Yeah.
But obviously in A New Hope, I don't believe they had any turrets in play. I think it was because they didn't have anyone to man the turrets.
Yeah, I think it was just Astromechs and proton torpedoes.
So I tried to keep it as thematic as possible.
Yeah, that's the whole point of this.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what.
You said it's a series of games. So how many games is there? We got Y-Wings, then we've got X-Wings.
And then we finish off with a trench run.
Oh, cool. There's a trench run scenario. We'll see that in the third game then.
In the third game, yes. So Game 2 will be coming tomorrow. So you can look out for that. And Game 3, the trench run, I mean, there was only really one day that we were going to have to drop the trench run, and that is May the 4th. So that just seemed like the absolute perfect time to get that
out for that game.
Yeah, don't worry. Get your notifications on, guys, and you'll be able to see that. Ooh. Someone's going aggressive.
I mean, with 2 health, why not?
Yeah. I mean, could he break that wing and cause Conor headaches of having to put more dials down?
I just want to see a proton torpedo get fired at this point.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's just at a turret, like, just use the points.
Launch the torpedoes. I mean, there is, 48 points worth of proton torpedoes on that list. I mean, that's a whole nother Y-Wing.
Yeah.
And obviously, not saying anything against Wes for not shooting them. Obviously, he's not had the opportunity, and it's unfortunate. And again, these ties, I really think that having that wing leader card on the ties has really elevated them. Oh, but that is a broken wing there. Because I'm not gonna lie, anytime I've tried to fly ties in formation, I think I've only done it once successfully. Every other time it's been an absolute.
I'm so bad at flying in formation; it's a nightmare. If these wing things were in regular games, I might try swarms more.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think the only time I've actually flown ties in formation well was actually against you, when when we did the commentary wars, and I had Oiken and the boys, because those 4 TIE fighters worked actually quite well.
Was that Inferno Squad?
No, I actually took 4 Obsidian Squad pilots. Obsidian? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Obsidian Squadron pilots. And I took them with Oiken in the Decimator. Back when, obviously, when you're trying to load things up, they're quite expensive. Like Inferno Squadron were actually quite expensive to actually field.
Yeah, I'm going to go back through the channel and find that one.
You were running the Ghost.
Oh yes.
And we both had that. If we bump, we still shoot mechanic.
Oh yeah, because I had Zeb on board and you had Oiken. It was just ignoring bumps. It's kind of like 2.5 actually, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was absolutely hilarious. I really enjoyed that game.
Speaking of bumps, this is a mess going on right here.
This is an absolute cluster. Absolute cluster. And somehow, none of them have bumped into a friendly unit, so...
A lot of focuses.
Yep. That's one thing I will say about this map, is those tokens look great on this map.
Yeah, like they do stand out a lot more, not being on a black background. That does help. Yeah. The classic X-Wing finger pointing. That guy's going to shoot that guy. Okay, so what have we got? We have, I think...
Nora looks like going into Howlrunner.
Yeah, that seems the most likely. Oh, good defense dice from Howlrunner, though.
Yeah. TIE fighters, it's just what they do. And I'm wondering... That range 1 bubble around Howlrunner, does that clip Mauler Mithel? I think it does.
Mauler is the red one. Yeah, Mauler is definitely range 1. So Mauler is going to get an additional die and a reroll.
Yeah. There's the...
He doesn't need the reroll.
Not that he needs it.
Wow.
Ouch. Oh, that's just rude.
I mean, Mauler, as you said, is a good pilot. That's a great ability. And being initiative 5, you're high enough initiative that you can fairly comfortably get those range 1 shots.
But there's the evades. There's some evades there. Nora obviously adding an evade for having definitely an opponent at range 1 of
Nora's defensive ability of, while you defend, if there's an enemy ship at range 0-1, add an evade result.
It's so good.
Change a result to an evade, just add an evade.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be defending against the ship at range 1. You just have to have someone next to you.
And the really interesting thing about that is that, now, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, guys, but that still works even if you've bumped someone. So if you're up against, if you're against,
yes, I think,
because you can add and modify defense dice. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that Nora's ability
I'm still fairly new to the new rules. I think adding a evade result like that, I think that's okay. But yeah, let us know in the comments.
It's just with attack you can't modify or add results. The only way you can do it is actually with the force. So it makes you want to use force users more. Sorry, scum players, you don't have that many. But there's still a fair amount of damage going through there. The Empire's just not suffering it at the moment. It's just
they're not suffering it, and they are dishing it out.
Yeah.
So already putting down the evade result for Nora's ability, getting a blank on the rolled one.
Still 2 going through.
Chipping away at Snap's mum.
Yeah. I mean, it would be hilarious if Snap was just coming back, leave my mum alone. What is that?
I can't quite make out what the top one is. Is that blank?
It's a blank, yeah. It's weird. The light catches, sometimes the dice look great. Sometimes the light catches it quite interestingly. It's quite frustrating.
Nah, don't worry about it.
Yeah. Oh, that's Get another great shot into Nora,
Amazing.
taking at least one there.
I mean, she's doing all right. That's pretty
There
good.
we go.
Only taking one there, but yeah, slowly chipping away through the armor.
I mean, a lot of
Whatever armor is left on a Y-wing.
yeah, after it's been stripped down, a lot of it has gone into Nora, but she's done well there to stick that one out.
I did
but
feel like
whilst-
this whole thing would be going differently if they'd managed to get those tire locks, but
yeah, completely.
it's that extra support, you know.
And speaking of support, whilst we are seeing the moves go ahead, don't forget, guys, if you do like what we're doing here at Out of Art Gaming, you can actually support us on Patreon. The link is in the description below. One of the advantages of going on the Patreon is you will actually be able to access and download the PDF format of the scenarios for this game and the following 2 games as well. So if you want to recreate that at your local gaming store or at home with your friends, the rules for that are going to be on Patreon.
And if you do, let us know how it goes.
Oh yeah, definitely. Put some pictures up on Instagram and tag us at Out of Art. We would love to see how your variation of this goes. Do the rebels completely wipe out the Empire and just make a mockery of them, or do you rewrite history? So we'd love to see it.
I mean, yeah, now we're really starting to see the benefits of the wings, because this is just becoming even more messy.
I mean, it's starting to look a little bit like standard 2.5, really, with all those dials on the table. But there's some damage gone through on Howlrunner.
Ooh.
And it's a fuel leak.
Ooh.
And it was done by hitting his own ship. But I'm pretty sure Wes will take it. Yeah, it's very tight in there now. Not a lot of room to maneuver in close. Definitely, I think, got to try and disengage with those Y-wings.
It's weird because the Y-wings are not maneuverable for these situations. The TIE fighters are, but there's so many of them, they're getting in the way of each other.
Yeah, I mean, at least the Y-wings have the R4 astromech, so it should hopefully benefit them by...
The R4 astromech, unless you're doing something specific like Dutch with the R3 astromech, R4 astromech is just almost a staple on any ship, really, that can take it.
Yeah, it's an absolute, go-to.
Like, upgrading to a blue 2 turn is amazing in basically everything.
Yeah. I think it's, especially for the points as well, it's not an expensive aspect. I think it's 2 points.
Yeah, it's 2 points.
And that's cheap. It's really cheap astromech for what it does. Obviously, there are some ships where it definitely benefits more. But I think it's kind of invaluable on the Y-wings, unless, as you said, they are doing something specific like Dutch with the double locking, or if you are really running them as a gunboat and you want to get more double locks in. But I can't, other than maybe R5 astromech, I can't really think of anything else you'd put on there. Oh, I think Black Squadron just killed himself.
Yeah. What a rookie, eh?
Yeah, what a rookie. I mean, call yourself an ace? I don't think so. But there's one less set of dice coming in at the Y-wings, so benefits all round coming in.
But the Gold Squadron veteran in the Y-wing is only really shooting at that turret.
Yeah.
Which, beneficial for next game. Nora's bumped into the back of... Who is that?
Into the front of... That's green Obsidian.
Green Obsidian, okay. So maybe get some damage in. Oh, Mauler again.
That's Mauler again. Mauler is just rude.
Mauler's been utterly brutal.
I don't think took the reroll from Howlrunner though. I think missed that trick. But I mean, it's not like they need any extra help with those TIE fighters. But yeah, it looks like I've just seen the point at the turret. Nora is going for the turret.
I think so. You can. You're probably not going to kill the Obsidian Squadron pilot unless you get a direct hit, or you can get a decent amount of damage on the turret for supporting the X-Wings later on, and you can spend your focus.
Yes, absolutely. So that's 2 damage onto that turret there.
I'm curious to see if this second turret down here gets destroyed. Are we going to see the X-Wing fight next be more down this side of the field as well, or are they going to also head up the board and go near the other turrets, or are the Imperials going to try and lure them up there, or I don't know. We'll see what happens in that game, I suppose.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to find out whether the Y-Wings have how much they will have assisted the X-Wings in the latter game.
Oh, these TIE's attacks are just relentless.
Yeah, and that's a crit.
Actually, I think Ruthless is probably the better term, because that is what's
console fire there, and that is
on Nora. Yeah,
on Nora. Yeah, ouch.
Fortunately, she has already activated this round, so she has a chance to fix that before it might kill her.
Yes.
If she survives these other shots.
I mean, yeah, console fire is just brutal.
Well, actually,
I think that's all the shots.
Yeah,
because
I was just going to say, because the others are actually facing the wrong way. Oh no, there's someone.
That's the turret. And
the turret, of course.
And that's going in on blue.
Yeah, that's gone.
Yeah, that's blue gone.
Even more torpedoes not used.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Disable power regulator was the crit. Yeah, that's
really being like we get like an opening engagement, torpedoes would fly, take out a couple of them, and then we get into like this brawl situation, but just the lack of actions on those early turns, it really shows that like setup can be really important.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's great that turret was taken down as quickly as it was, but it has having to avoid that debris cloud. I think if it was a 2.0 cloud, it wouldn't have been so bad, because obviously they weren't as damaging. But nowadays, with the obstacles, they're brutal.
I think
they're
also
really brutal.
Potentially underestimating the speed of which the Imperial TIEs will just straight up fly down the board. Not quite giving the Y-Wings enough time to do the turn and safely get the actions they need.
Yeah.
Which I think is a great idea from the Empire. Rush them, don't let them get the range that they want for their locks and their torpedoes. And it's worked out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that is the kind of ethos with TIE fighters. Just literally swarm your enemy, get in their face, and just really frustrate them, and that's the best thing to do with them. And Conor has done that really well. He's obviously got to spend a bit of time now turning around, but Nora's got 2 health left. He's chewed through 30 health.
Yeah,
30 health.
Pretty good time, especially when you go consider they're TIE fighters. They've only got 2 natural attack dice. Oh, okay, Mauler's got his good ability, and Howlrunner's giving some rerolls. But for the most part, they're not the biggest guns. There's just a lot of them. Yeah,
death by 1,000 cuts, I think is the phrase.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I was thinking maybe adding Howlrunner and Mauler made it quite tough for the Empire, but again, thematically, it was definitely a lopsided fight. So it's in a thematic sense, it definitely works.
I mean, when you got to try and take down a planet-destroying space station that's definitely not a moon, you've just got to go with what you've got. And in this case, it was some Y-Wings with torpedoes that just can't launch.
Yeah. I mean, maybe when Phoenix Cell rescued rescued those Y-wings. They gave the wrong
liberated.
ones. Stole.
Agree to disagree.
You rebel scum stole them.
We were being
But yeah.
dismantled anyway.
And they would have been used to good resource to make extra TIE fighters.
I feel like they're making very good resources at the moment.
What, turning TIE fighters into extra pieces?
They're trying to, at least, yeah.
Yeah, trying to.
What are the rules for flying over a turret?
Just like flying over a normal ship. The only rule we had in there was obviously
If you land on it?
If you can't land on it, you'd bump into it.
Okay.
So if, say, Conor bumped into it, he would have to roll to damage himself. But if the Y-wings bumped into it, it would just be like bumping into a normal ship.
Gotcha.
So we decided to not overly complicate it. More so than it already was.
I feel like at this point, Nora probably just does a K-turn, gets on the other side of the turret and tries to finish it off with a shot.
Yeah, I think finishing off that turret is going to be a moral victory for the rebellion here.
Also, so this is Conor playing for Empire and Wes playing for Rebels, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Are they also playing the future rounds?
No, we've completely mixed it up. So
like teams against each other.
Essentially, yeah. So
I guess we'll see who's playing in those games when they're out.
Yeah, we'll find out tomorrow who is actually taking charge of Red Squadron and Vader and his wing.
Ooh.
So Vader will be making an appearance. Not right now, because I don't think the Empire needs any assistance yet. Yeah. But it will be interesting to see how that game goes. Oh, that's a disappointing shot.
Not quite enough to take out. I mean, you might be able to squeeze a 1 speed move if you live a turn. You can.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, only 1 shot coming back. It is Wampa, so Wampa does get to flip a charge, as we just saw there.
Yeah. Nora, I guess the turret doesn't count for Nora's ability because it's.
It does.
It does for this. Okay.
It's an opposing ship.
Yeah.
It has a ship. It has a ship card.
Also the ship for bumping and stuff. So all right.
Yeah. So we said yes.
And it's an enemy. It's not a typical obstacle. So fair enough.
Yeah. It isn't whatever they're going to class structures as when they finally stop teasing us in the FAQs and the rules.
But yeah, this is definitely a okay. The mission has changed. Take out as much of the turrets as you can before either the timer is reached or Nora's remaining health is gone.
Yeah, it's become more of a sabotage mission than anything else now. But I mean, in all fairness, I think the Y-Wings have done a pretty good job. They had a very tough objective.
Yeah, I mean, if I was going up against 6 TIE fighters, I would not pick 4 Y-Wings to do it.
No.
Not the best matchup for them.
I'd probably say you definitely want X-Wings would be better. Possibly A-Wings, actually, for the maneuverability would be quite good. But I think you want something with a bit more. I think maneuverability is going to be your key there, and probably more green dice.
I feel like maybe something with more red dice to get through the greens.
Yeah, there is that.
I think Nora has bumped there.
We called it didn't.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
We were playing. Obviously, this is just. It's an absolute fun mission. We're just playing this for absolute. So there were points where we played a little bit loose with it, and you know what? Conor graciously was like, "Yeah, you didn't bump there, Wes. Take a take an action, like in the nicest way possible. You've got 2 health left.
We're here to celebrate Star Wars, right? It's a May the 4th build-up game. It's just for fun.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like we all had such a good time playing this, and as we were playing, there were other people in the store playing other games as well. But we did start getting quite a crowd build up watching this, and I don't blame them, because it's just, how often do you actually get to see something like this?
Also, it's, as much as obviously we know what most of the ships in the game are, you look at a table and you see a bunch of TIE fighters and a bunch of Y-Wings, you go, I know them.
Yeah, absolutely. They're iconic. They stand out straight away.
You're not looking across at like a Z95 flying up against the Mist Hunter and you're going, what are those ones? What is that?
There's a lot of obscure ships if you're not up on the lore or played any of the old video games in there. So it can be quite tricky sometimes. Like the TV shows that they've got have been great in introducing some of those back in.
Yes.
But still, yeah, I know what you mean. There's a lot of obscure ships in there. That debris cloud is actually working out quite handy for Wednesday, giving him some extra evades.
Yeah. I mean, also with Wampa being next to Nora, she's getting her ability.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh, down to 1 there for Nora.
Is there anyone else still to shoot at Nora at this point?
No, I think that was the last shot.
Nora survived another round. That ability makes her so durable. Like, even not in this scenario, she's a very good pilot.
I think she's a brilliant pilot. That ability on the Y-Wing and the Arc is just great. It elevates her pilot quite considerably, because you want to play that ship in a different way. Because
I love that it makes you go, oh, it's a Y-Wing, maybe I'll hang back and I'll just shoot the turret or something. And Nora just goes, no, just get me in there. Stick me in the enemy.
We have a crit on Wampa.
That's kind of ironic considering his old version 1 ability.
Yeah. So that's a fuel leak there on Wampa. Unfortunately, I don't think Nora's going to get a chance to really capitalise and just take her out.
It's a shame because there's a fuel leak on Howlrunner and now a fuel leak on Wampa. It's like, just sneak 1 crit through on either of them and they're gone.
Yeah. This net is really closing in on Nora. I think they kind of sense where she's most likely going to be.
There's only so many places she can go. I guess maybe if she's done a bank and bumps into the orange pilot, she might be all right.
The only downside with that is Nora wouldn't be able to get a final shot off. But we will have to see. I mean, the big question now is, will Nora survive? She's got 1 health left. And
you're going up on time, so place your bets. Will Nora live?
I think...
Will she, yeah.
Yeah, this is looking like it's going to be the last round.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure 1 Y-Wing survived the Death Star assault.
It did.
So
it did. So
if she lives, wrong pilot, but close enough to cannon.
At the moment, seeing where all these TIE fighters are looking, it just reminds me of those old like puzzles where it's like everyone's looking like, find where the football should be. It's like, find where Nora's going to end up.
Oh, would you look at that?
And they, you know what? I think if you drew a line from all of their bullseyes, it would be pretty much spot on.
Yeah.
And big question: doesn't kill herself on the obstacle.
Right. No actions, just dice.
But
Howlrunner's up first.
Has an Obsidian Squadron
get the ability though, which is good.
Howlrunner whiffs.
Nothing from Howlrunner.
Wes is like, I'm throwing the dice anyway.
We all like throwing dice, why not?
Yeah.
This is Mauler, not with his ability. Nora lives, okay. Now we're over to Nora to shoot. I think probably go for Wampa. Try and get the crit.
Yeah, I think you've got to go for Wampa to try and get the crit.
He's damaged. He's closer than Howlrunner is. And yeah, if you get the crit through, you could take him out. And he hasn't shot yet. Also, shooting at him negates his ability. So yeah, I think Wampa is the choice here.
Wampa couldn't shoot anyway.
Oh,
on the obstacle.
I'm still getting used to that. But
survives it.
Worth a try.
Oh, that's a big. That's big.
Could be it.
Evades!
Nora. I know we're a few days early, but is the 4th with Nora?
I think.
Is that all?
Nora survives.
Nora survives with 1 health. Nora hung in there for so long. That is amazing. And she took out the other turret.
So far, one part of the theme is sticking. We have a single Y-Wing surviving. So that is... We're good so far. Can this last? Or can the Empire completely throw a spanner in the works and keep that Death Star alive? But
we'll see you tomorrow for the X-Wing game.
Absolutely. But I just want to say, where's Conor? Thank you so much for actually flying that for us. I know that you guys had a great time. James, I hope you enjoyed that.
Thanks very much for bunch of fun. Thanks for having me on.
No worries, and hopefully we'll see you for the X-Wing assault, I'd imagine. But guys, thank you very much for watching part 1 of our May the 4th build-up matchups. As I said, part 2 will be coming tomorrow, and on May the 4th we will be doing the trench run. So stick around for that. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Put those notifications on so you know when that goes live. Link for the Patreon in the description below, where you can get all the rules for these scenarios, and we will see you next time.